Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. And if you guys could, share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started today is going to be Wednesday, February 22nd. The total market cap for all cryptocurrencies is $1,111,000,000,000. This is a 1.65% increase on the day. Now, don't get confused. We did go down earlier today, and well, like late last night and earlier today. And we continue to drop for quite some time. But we are starting to go back up. So I wanted just to point that out there. I always try to be as transparent as possible with crypto. I do see crypto right now staying right about the 24 to 25,000 mark. We did dip a little bit lower than that and then just fell right back up. But there is a lot of news that I'm going to cover that's going to talk about this and where I see the market and the reasons why I think so. But there are people who are in the crypto space or also in the investment space and think that we are going to go back down quite further. Some people do think that we're going to drop to 20,000. I've talked to some people that I know that are currently now out of the market because they think that we could drop for Bitcoin up to a 12 to a $13,000 Bitcoin. And they could be right, but I'm in crypto for the long term, not the short term. So if it does drop that low, I will be reinvesting some more money into cryptocurrency, and just dollar cost averaging as it goes down, and then just ride the wave back up. So I always, again, try to be as transparent as possible. Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of the video. Towards the end of the videos where we're going to do our XRP giveaway. We did reach 100 subscribers on YouTube. I kind of filtered a way to filter out most of the bots. And again, if there's a bot comment, I'll get rid of it, and we'll re-roll it. But getting started, Bitcoin's currently trading at $24,391. Ethereum is trading at $1,663. And XRP right now is trading at 39.65 cents. If we go ahead and look at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin, we look at the 7-day Bitcoin. 2 days ago when I made my last video, reached $25,126, and we dropped and continued to drop all the way down into today. About 10:05 this morning was our low point at 23,660. A lot of people still got scared. I figured we would rebound. I thought we would rebound around $23,800. We did go down to 23,660. But we continued to wave back up, 24,500, and right now 24,402. And I still see this as staying right about this price. I'm not too concerned. What was nice to see, though, especially if you're an XRP holder, if we look at the XRP chart, XRP during this time period, it did drop. We were at 40 cents, and then our lowest point right here was 38.5. So we didn't drop as much as Bitcoin did, percent wise. Obviously, price action wise, it seems like Bitcoin dropped way more money, and Bitcoin, or XRP dropped like 1.5 cents. But overall, it's not terrible where we're at right now. But this was kind of unaffected with the market, in my opinion. It did drop a little bit, but every crypto dropped drastically, and XRP kind of stayed stagnant. So it shows that there's investor confidence in XRP, and there's a bunch of reasons why that we'll talk about. Getting into our crypto bubbles, the biggest gainers on the day, Flocky is going to be up 34.6%. Stacks is going to be up 23.9%. OP is going to be up 15.2%, and then Lido DAO right here is going to be up 15.1%. But if we did look at the charts yesterday, 90% of the coins were in red. So I'm sorry I didn't make a video yesterday. I got back and just crashed hard. But we were all in the red yesterday. Again, I try to be transparent. So, we do have our green days like we are showing right now. But yesterday, if you guys did log on to your own crypto bubbles, you saw that we were in a negative. Getting into the news, though, right here, FTX Japan resumes fiat and crypto withdrawals. So if you guys do have money, you guys are outside the country, because I do have some of my followers who are not in the US. If you guys currently reside in Japan, you guys can now withdraw fiat and crypto in Japan, which is finally some great news for people who invested in FTX exchange, or had their money on the exchange. Now, for me personally, I would never use FTX ever again. If you currently have money on FTX and you can get it out, I would get it out as fast as possible. Yes, they are trying to regain their exchange, but in my opinion, their name is already tainted. It has, a black smear against it, and I would never touch it. I've never used FTX, but again, now knowing what I know now, especially, I would get rid of it. eToro gains regulatory approval to offer crypto services in New York. So this is just further regulatory clarity that the SEC has still not provided. Polygon Labs fires 20% of its staff. This is just showing, that, these big corporations, now Polygon Labs is not a big corporation, but it just showing that, these businesses are just laying people off. We saw last month, and then the month prior, Amazon, Google, uh, Meta laid off staff. There's several other companies that did, but they had those massive layoffs. So we're still not into where I think that, more people are getting into the job markets. I know that, it shows that the unemployment rate is an all-time low, but how is it at an all-time low when all these people are still getting laid off from their jobs? To show that there is a positive in the business aspects. This was kind of crazy to see. We talked about this a few videos ago. The SEC officially charges the Mormon Church for hiding its $32 billion secret investment portfolio. Now, the only reason why I think that, they could technically get sued for this is if they were selling off their portfolio. But, a lot of the times, when I buy stocks and stuff, um, I don't have to let the SEC know every single time I make a move. Now, maybe for these big businesses that they have to, again, I don't have a big business. I have my YouTube channel. Maybe there's some different laws and stuff, but, in my opinion, we should be able to keep our personal finances a secret. If I do make money, obviously I have to pay taxes on it. But, for them to hide their portfolio, if make it not shown, I don't know why. I know like a bunch of people were trying to get Trump's tax returns during the elections and stuff like that to see what his businesses were like. And in my opinion, like that's your own personal finance, just like your personal medical history. We're supposed to keep that stuff private. If you guys want to share it, you're more than welcome to, but you should not be obligated to do that. So I don't like this, but again, if you guys disagree with me, put that in the comments. Coinbase Coin reports a net loss of 2.62 billion in 2022. So Coinbase is losing money. They're not the only exchange that has lost money or the only business that has been losing money. Um, so it's just crazy to see again that these big businesses are losing a bunch of money, yet we're supposedly coming out of a so-called not a recession but going into a recession right now. So make sure you guys again keep an eye on the new report that's going to be coming out on March 14th. That's going to be the CPI report. That's going to show the inflation numbers and where a lot of investors use that data to determine if they're going to add money to the market or take money away from the market. China instructs tech companies to not offer chat GPT services due to concerns over uncensored responses. And this is just a further crackdown of the regimen in China for basically, no social media, stuff like that. They're trying to control their individuals, what they see. It's just crazy to see. Luckily, we don't have this here in the United States. We have a little bit more freedoms, but if you guys live in this area, it's kind of nice. I'm not a huge fan of AI, so I would agree with that. Chat GPT creator OpenAI hires former Google employees. This is just further showing that Chat GPT is going to just keep on dominating the markets. Iraq central bank to allow trade with China to be settled in Chinese yen instead of US dollars. This is just showing that the US dollar dominance worldwide, considered the world currency, is slowly falling off. We talked about how the oil trades and stuff like that are getting done in US dollars, but soon that's going to be traded and not in US dollars also. And just showing that, investors or other countries do not like the US dollar anymore. They want something different. They don't want the United States to have complete power or control. So it's going to eventually, in my opinion, lose the value of the dollar. But, the United States has a strong economy overall. So I do still see the dollar staying strong, but just not as strong as it used to be. U.S. housing market declines by 2.3 trillion in 2022, largest drop since 2008. And in my opinion, this is well needed. If you guys are in the market for a house, it has been almost next to impossible to get a house. Interest rates are through the roof right now. So your $300,000 house in my area right now is costing 500,000. So it's over $200,000 more than what it was in 2018, 2019. And in my opinion, that's just outrageous. These individuals who allowed this to happen, in my opinion, are scumbags of the earth. A lot of big corporations like Zillow and some other realtor corporations were buying up all of these houses, and then basically forcing people to rent, especially at astronomical rates. Rent was roughly about 800, $900 for a studio, one bedroom apartment. Right now, one bedroom apartments are $2,000, $1,700 to $2,000. It's just ridiculous in my area right now. So I hope to see prices drop for houses, and especially interest rates, because even if houses drop back to, it's never going to go back down to 300, but say it goes back down to 350, 400,000 at a 7 to 9% interest rate for people, for especially for new home buyers, that's going to be astronomical. Getting into some more news though, Jeremy Hogan says the U.S. war on crypto is entering phase two, and it's a broader and more sophisticated attack than phase one. Let the FUD begin. And this is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you guys want to review this full article, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the comments. So make sure you guys do read this. It was a great read, and just showing, that we need to figure out regulatory clarity, and the US does not need to wage a war on crypto, but it needs to work with crypto companies and exchanges and stuff like that to allow citizens to be able to adopt it, businesses to utilize it, because right now banks and like Visa, MasterCard, Venmo, all of these big corporations make a crap ton of money, PayPal, off of you guys, and the fees that they charge. But if you guys use cryptocurrency, especially like an XRP or a Stellar, for money transfers, for corporations and stuff like that, whether it's banks or the retail consumer, those charges are less than 1%, like 0.01%. So I can send $1 million to somebody and pay less than a penny. But if I use today's banking system, I'm going to be paying anywhere from 10 to 15%. That's just astronomical, in my opinion. Getting into some more news. New from Coinbase quarter four shareholders letter, because they did have a loss in their company. They did release a letter to their shareholders, especially with everything with the SEC that's going on, with regulatory clarity and them suing exchanges like Kraken. And in my opinion, Kraken's settlement, and basically the lawsuit in general for that, was basically a ploy. They're basically just trying to get precedent in court, so then when they go after these big corporations like Coinbase, they can show like, well, see, Kraken right here realized what they were doing was wrong. There's precedents already been set, so now we can go after these big exchanges, and now they actually have some little bit of leverage in court, where if they went after Coinbase in general, Coinbase has a massive amounts of money on the side, a lot of investors, and then also they basically have no other legal backing other than, we think this happens. Now that they have precedent that Kraken went down, they can use that, and the judge may side with them. And in my opinion, they won't, but that's a possibility. If they won in court with Kraken, possibly, but they did settle with Kraken. Eleanor Tourette also came out and says, new file today, a handwritten follow-up note to the SDNY judge, Kaplan, taking issue with Sam Bankman-Fried's bail conditions. Right now, he's secretly trying to use a VPN and stuff like that to send money. He's been caught with that. And basically, part of his stipulation is he's not allowed to use a VPN or the internet right now while he's on bail. But they filed a condition right here, and says, at the end of it says, he continues to mock you in the system of justice. It is disgraceful. Please do your job. So, and in my opinion, this is really good. I don't like Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't like the FTX exchange. I think that it's crap that they stole a bunch of money, and the SEC did absolutely nothing about it. It was like right in front of their eyes. And they were working with him for regulatory clarity, supposedly, in the court system. Moving on, though, John Deaton says, in my opinion, Ripple right now would pay 100 to 250 million in a settlement if the judge agreed publicly that the current and future sales of XRP are not securities. The SEC is not going to agree to that in the middle of its war versus crypto. Judge Torres could provide clarity on secondary sales, which isn't appealed. So, in my opinion, especially with the library case that the judge came out and sided with library. If you guys don't know about that, was library versus the SEC was the first token that the SEC went after. And then they went after the big fish like Ripple. That's what I was talking about earlier, with Kraken and Coinbase. Same concept right here, but instead of exchanges, it's with tokens. They won in court saying that Library first offered initial sales of securities, and then the secondary sales after an appeal were considered not securities. So in my opinion, I don't think that Ripple's going to settle with the SEC, and the SEC wouldn't settle with Ripple right now because they won't come to an agreement. Moving on, though, in 2022, the SEC in-house judges violates right to jury trial appeals court rules. John Deaton says, always remember when Gary Gensler and others brag about how often the SEC has won in court, it's all relative. And in my opinion, they might win in court, but they win at the low courts, because then at the appeals court and the higher courts is where they actually lose, because the judges in these original cases don't 100% know the laws or don't utilize the law properly. James K. Filan comes out and says the WSJ, the Wall Street Journal, discusses Gary Gensler's latest effort to extort control over all crypto. The Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating whether investor protector laws were violated as stable coins were issued. This article again will be posted. This is another great read because Gary Gensler is trying to go after stable coins. This is where I was talking about, there's some individuals, especially in the crypto space, that believe that we are going to go lower. He believes that we're going to go in the low 20s, like 20,000, possibly touch a little lower, but not by much. But he says in the near term, he thinks that we're going to go up to a 27 to maybe a low 30s before we drop. And if you guys follow him or don't, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to follow him right now. I follow him on my personal account, but I will follow him on my investing account. So he comes out and says the stock market will crash within the next few weeks. Crypto will follow. Take your guys' profits. Now, if you guys want to take profits, 100% do it if you guys absolutely need to, or if you guys personally want to. Again, no financial advice. I'm personally going to stay in the market. I'm going to ride the wave. I always have. I've been in crypto for quite some time. I ride the waves whenever I need to, and I don't want to have to pay taxes on my gains because I'm still positive, then invest back into the market. And then if it goes up by a lot, as of right now, I've been invested over a year, I can pay not a capital gains tax, but I can use it as my income tax, where I'd have to pay a higher percentage in taxes if I chose to sell later on within the first year of me buying that coin back. Right here, Dr. Rosalind Layton, we talked about this 3 or 4 videos ago. Layton has filed an amended motion to intervene to petition the court for access to the Hinman speech docs. Dr. Layton's original request suggested that the SEC had offered the Hinman speech documents in support of its own summary judgment motion, when that was not the case. So she did amend her motion. I don't like when they amend their motions because they weren't confident or didn't realize what they were doing in the first place. But still, it's great. Take ownership of what you did. And if I ever make a mistake or whatever, comment in the comments, say, hey, you're wrong about this. Be polite about it, because I do a lot of research, but some things do fly over my head sometimes. But I will happily correct any mistake that I do make. I do believe honesty is the best policy. U.S. Department of Justice, or U.S. Department of Defense, server leaked terabytes of internal military emails to the internet for weeks. This just keeps on showing that, there keeps on coming thing after thing after thing that, one, the administration can't get a hold of, or, that's making headline news. We just had a lumber yard in New York and Brooklyn just go up in flames. We just had another factory set on fire, more chemical spills, another railroad derailment, train derailment. Like, all of this stuff just keeps on happening, and this stuff didn't happen. It wasn't common for this stuff to happen within the last 2 weeks. I can't have a tally of how much of that stuff has gone on. If you guys do know, though, or you guys do some research, put it in the comments. Know the exact amount of catastrophic events that have made the news recently. This one was kind of interesting right here. The Biden administration is preparing to sign the United States to a legally binding accord with the World Health Organization that would give the Geneva-based UN subsidiary the authority to dictate America's policies during a pandemic. Is this real? Can the state ignore this? And Elon Musk did comment on this and said this is not good. And in my opinion, if he comments that he does realize and he does vet his sources, that this is actually true, and then this guy right here says it is true, and this is where another article. So again, I'll post this in for you guys to read. But in my opinion, this is just more things that other countries are going to have more control over the United States, when shouldn't the people have control over the United States, not the World Health Organization? Because honestly, who the hell are these people? Like, we don't know. I don't know who's involved in the World Health Organization. Why is the UN supposed to be able to one that does this? We shouldn't the United States people and the politicians that we put in office? And in my opinion, we need to revamp our Congress. This was kind of interesting. Trump just publicly confirmed that the U.S. State Department was behind the Maidan uprising in Ukraine. He's calling out the White House. He's calling out the Department of Defense. He calls out the Justice Departments all the time. And in my opinion, this is really great. We shouldn't have, the U.S. State Department behind the Maidan uprising in Ukraine. Even further, with President Trump, to donate thousands of gallons of cleaning supplies and more than a dozen pallets of water to East Palestine, Ohio. He donated a bunch of food, water, cleaning supplies, some ways to get shelter, stuff like that. If you guys don't know, this is kind of interesting too. Pete Buttigieg is taking some personal time, which, he's supposed to be talking about transportation. He is that department. Joe Biden is giving another $500 million to Ukraine, which gave zero to Ohio for the train derailment that now has toxic chemicals in their drinking water. Kamala Harris is tweeting about electric vehicles. Meanwhile, President Trump, with former President Trump, some people still consider him like the president right now, and in my opinion, he's not. It's former President Trump, but you would still call him president because that's what you're supposed to do. Is on his way to help the people of East Palestine, Ohio, and he did actually go out there. So this is him right here. This is the real president of the United States. I won't comment the rest of that. Yeah, I didn't realize the rest of that. I was going to say it, but I won't. This is him though with his truckloads of uh, pallets and stuff like that, him shaking hands. Hey, he's a man of the people. You know, we should have Biden here right now, but instead on President's Day, he chose to fly to another country. And right now we have Trump actually here visiting while Biden's over with Zelensky, shaking hands, saving face, and basically giving out more taxpayer dollars that none were given to the American citizens who are actually in some sort of predicament right here. This is an environmental disaster right now. That's what's going on, and right now nothing is being done about it from our federal government. Digital Perspectives comes out and talks about this on David Schwartz. For those of you guys that don't know, he's a CTO at Ripple. He says, "I hope that we don't run into a situation where we all have to make any choice like that. Keep in mind that while the stakes are high, there is not quite as high as this suggests. After all, this is only the U.S. There's quite a bit more to the world, and Congress can change laws." In my opinion, I do 100% agree with this. This is kind of crazy to see right here. I was going through and seeing some stuff related to the news, and this goes along with the World Health Organization, but banning by facial recognition just for working for the wrong employer. So the NYC venue, which runs the New York Knicks and stuff like that, what they're going to do is they're going to use facial recognition. And if you work for law firms that basically sue these venues or sue artists or stuff like that in this area, you are no longer allowed to enter those. You're basically trespassed. They're going to use facial recognition to recognize you. You're probably already on a list if you work for any of these companies, and you don't even need to be the person that is actively suing. You just have to work for the employee of the employer that is suing the NYC venues and stuff like that. And in my opinion, this is a grass overreach of power. It's just basically guilty by association. Like, you're friends with somebody, they go rob the store, you get arrested because you're friends with them, and that's just ridiculous. And in my opinion, it's completely wrong. This is totally against our freedoms, and they should be taken to court for this. And basically, yeah, they should be sued. And I would be 100% be against, or would be 100% for suing these individuals that work for the NYC venues that allowed that to happen. Um, David Schwartz also came out and says, "The more I think about this, the angrier I get. The point of this performance was to convey in what they thought would be in a strong way that they are not afraid to drink the water. That was a lie. They were. And in the reality, to lie to convince someone that something is safe so that they'll be willing to tolerate it when they are terrified of it is one of the worst lies imaginable. Frankly, I think that they should resign. It's that bad." Alternatively, a confession that they were not willing to drink the water, formed some kind of real plan of action to do something about it, could maybe put in the comic ideology or idiocy into forgivable territory. Let's see if they show it right here. So they all get clean drink or clean drinking water, right? So this is in Palestine, Ohio, right here. You got Mike DeWine and the EPA chief pretend to drink tap water. So if you let's see if we can see right here. Like he sniffs it. Let's make sure it's okay. And then he briefly like taps it to his lips. Just taps it. And then he does it too right here. Just like, watch. Does he even drink anything? Like, he barely taps it. These individuals have to drink 8 cups of water a day minimum, is what the average person is supposed to have. He's already put it on the counter. He's like, man, this water tastes really good, doesn't it? Briefly touches it to his lips, swishes it around, supposedly. Again, he could just be touching it to his lips, not even drinking it. This is 100% wrong. And I just wanted to point that out there. And this is kind of crazy that, we have the EPA chief and, whoever else these individuals are going to just drink the water to prove that it's safe. You're not drinking this every single day. You're not even taking a gulp of water. You're touching it to your lips and saying that you drank it. Now it's safe. Don't believe it. This is true. In order to move people to a new financial system, the old one has to become defunct. This is at the World Government Summit in 2022. I'm not going to play this video because you guys can't hear the sounds. As of right now, I still haven't been able to figure out how to do that. And we're going to move on because we still have to make our uh, uh, giveaway. I wanted to show this though. Check out the date. So the SEC to announce the T+1 implementation date on May 28th, 2024 will be the final implementation date to move from a T+1 settlement for transaction in U.S. cash, equities, corporate debt, and unit investment trust. I still need to figure out a little bit more what this is. And a lot of people have their speculations. So we need to wait until May 2024. Nice. So a lot of this stuff right here is kind of crazy and interesting. If you guys do a little bit more research on this, let me know what you guys think. Moving on though, Coinbase right here. Coinbase will add support for Eurocoin on the Ethereum network. Do not send this asset over other networks or your funds may be lost. Inbound transfers for the assets are available on Coinbase, Coinbase Exchange in the regions where trading is supported. So this was kind of interesting. And in my opinion, this just shows global adoption of cryptocurrency. We have a US digital coin right now, USDC, US Tether, and others. To have a euro coin being supported by Coinbase, this just shows that other countries are buying into this, and we need to figure this out. And Coinbase did do this. Now, there's no sound to this, but I wanted to show it. 2/23/23. That is tomorrow. They have this 6-second clip right here of a blue dot. What does this mean? There's speculation that there's possibly going to relist Ripple. SafeMoon comes out and says something, and they say memorizing. WAO throwing these blue things. Coinbase responds, so Woe is right. Now that's province, and it just keeps going on and on. There's speculation that it could be XRP finally getting relisted, and in my opinion, I don't think that it is, but it should be. Only time's going to tell. Now, to get to the giveaway, I figured out a way where I'm going to just copy the address right here, and then we'll refresh this right here so you guys know, like, there's nothing right being picked. We'll start the raffle right here. We're going to go ahead and put um, the link right here, and then we're going to filter duplicate users. So if you guys commented more times than once, it kind of gets rid of bots, or I can kind of tell if there's a bot comment. If there is, we'll redo it, and we'll figure it out from here. So solve sums just to prove that you guys aren't bots, and get the YouTube comments. So as of right now, we have 162 unique comments. But if we go ahead and look at our page, if we refresh it, it shows that we have over 274 comments. We did go over 155 subscribers. We brought back down to 112, 113 because YouTube did get rid of some bots, which I'm thankful for. I'm glad that YouTube does get rid of these bots. But we did jump back up to 135. So we're going to go ahead and run the giveaway right here. So it says right here, start raffle and pick at random. We show random names, so you guys might see your guys' name, and if you guys win, or if you guys see your guys' name and unfortunately you guys don't win, I'm sorry. We are going to be doing another giveaway at 500 subscribers. So our winner is going to be Carol Primley. So let's see if we can go here. We can look. She does have other subscriptions, so I do think that she is an active user. So Carol Primley, if you can go ahead and message me on my Twitter. I did post my first Twitter tweet today. It says, "Welcome to Big Dog Investing," and I appreciate all of your guys' support from you guys. This is my first tweet and more to follow. I'm going to try to be active on Twitter more. I have a TikTok too. I'm not really